The writer answers somehow when doing this last night. I cut out most of the post both here and at Mad Genius Club, where this is cross-posted. I'm doing it again as a new post, so notifications go up, etc. Partly because I wasn't sure what to write about, and partly because I think we keep trying to do articles on specialized points, while there is a vast understore of ignorance there that we aren't even scratching. Mostly because today I got yet another nice email from a nice young man, asking me to help him get published. I figured I'd ask my fans what I should be answering. However, a funny thing happened on the way to certainties. I find that in casting my eyes over most of the entries, most of them are things I'd have answered unwaveringly a year or two ago, but of whose answer I'm not absolutely sure now. Because ebooks are changing the way business is done, I can give you the official, i.e. this is how I did it, would have done it till recently answer, then the answer I suspect is true now. The caveat for those is please remember I broken 13 years ago, and the new realities of the market are not something I've experienced firsthand. I might know a little more than you, but only because I read blogs and listened to friends. I don't know for sure. I'll use the questioner's name for the question, then OA for official answer, then BG for best guess. SS, to agent or not agent? And if yes, how to agent? What the heck is a query and how does one go about concocting such a beastie? OA, you have to have an agent to get published with a big publishing house. I suggest writing a query for your best novel, no one agent short stories. Then ask published writers for recommendations to agents and or snoop on authors' blogs to figure out who their agents are. Read the agent's descriptions for fit with your work. Before sending queries to your pick 10 or so, check pre-editors and editors to make sure you didn't pick skunks. Send out. If one replies, then send out whatever they ask for, no more no less. Do not send out proposals or manuscripts to more than one agent at once. Wait for an answer. If the agent offers to represent you, watch very carefully to see how enthusiastic they are. You want an agent who loves your work. The query is a lot like the blurb in the back of a book, with a difference: you actually tell the agent editor how it ends. BG, someone I respect greatly in the field just said it's stupid to have an agent these days, that in the current publishing climate, an agent gets you nothing. I don't fully understand her angle unless she's counting out all of big publishing, but she's not the first much more established writer than I that I heard it from, and when she says stuff like that, I wonder. JD, contracts, what's fair? What's a trap? How far to trust your agent? OA, at the most basic, contracts should establish that money flows to the writer. Anything requiring you to pay is unacceptable. Beyond that, there are many things that are traps, things that you should be able to figure out with common sense. Contracts that get the rights to all your characters, or where you transfer copyright to the publisher. This might be alright for some short stories, like using other people's characters per invite. Never for a novel, unless it's a media tie-in. Other clauses to watch for will say things like, you can't work for anyone else until your story is published. Since you can't control the date of publication, this could tie you up forever. Sometimes they just say you can't work for anyone else, period. Anything like that, run very fast. And if your agent tells you it's okay, run from agent to CDC, keeping track of query letter and send manuscript submissions and responses. OA, I haven't done this in very, very long. It's far more important for short stories when it climbs into the dozens. But I suggest a spreadsheet program, or else one of many specialized programs available. I'm blanking on names, can someone in the audience help? I'm thinking of right again. Not sure if that's true. MB, alpha readers, beta readers, writing groups, and all that. I just had someone fretting about losing their ideas if they participate in a writing group. I told them they were more likely to never find their ideas if they didn't participate. But there's that running fear that somehow talking to people will ruin you, somehow. OA, you need reality checkers. I've covered writing groups in several columns, and the importance of finding a writer group that works for you. If a writer group isn't doable, at least find 2 critique partners you can trust and trade manuscripts. No, you're not going to have your ideas stolen. And no, no one can change your writing style, or at least not permanently. It is human to influence each other, but life also influences you. To grow you have to change, and you don't live in an hermetically sealed bag. https www.facebook.com profile, php. It equals 100,928,766,185 SS. In the absence of a co-conspirator with remarkably pointy shoes, how to recognize when one has reached the point of polishing the cannonball, as we called it in the Navy, and firing off a submission rather than endlessly rereading and re-revising. OA, I do this too, and I went through long years without co-conspirators. It's hard. My advice is that when you feel like you're adding more errors than you're removing, you find the subplot you just added in doesn't mesh with an earlier one, for instance, or when you feel you're being particularly clever. No, seriously, this is usually a symptom, or when you go above 200k words, it's time to let go. Otherwise, establish an arbitrary number of passes, say, 5. After 5 passes it leaves the house. I can only do 3 or I kitchen sink it. I throw in everything plus the kitchen sink. BG, if you're going to self-publish as an option this day, hire a trusted copy editor. I don't care how good you are, you'll drive yourself insane proofing, and stuff will still escape you. As a former wannabe writer, I'm more interested in the business aspects. They are more relevant to my life. Your opinion of the right mix between paid writing and freebies that hook people in, for example. In general business coverage I was told that you should quit your day job when you were selling 50% of everything you sent out. I've been there for years, but if I had a day job I wouldn't quit it. I guess right now, with the uncertainty, you have to be closer to 80%. Also, I would advise something I'm just now implementing: have multiple income streams, say novels and short stories and articles and whatever else you can get. If one of them can be regular pay, like a paid blog, that will give you some security. As for mix between paid and free, the freebies I give away that are fiction are usually already published things. There's also blogging, and mine for my 3 base blogs, my own, my group blog, and the other group blog are still mostly free, but I'm starting to branch out into paid blog articles. Look, you need the exposure, it's all there is to it, but if you find it taking most or even half of your time, you'll have to cut back. Only you can find your balance. E-books. Are e-books merely paper books transformed to electrons? Like the early TV shows were just televised plays, or is there more potential in this medium? Hyperlinks, embedded video, embed sound effects, what else? BG, I don't know. I find that a book is a book is a book. Once you put in hyperlinks and embedded video, you're running the risk of people not coming back to the story. Maybe my opinion is influenced by all those examples I've seen of this sucking badly. However, I still think a book is a book. But things that can improve the book while just a book are available, and like the ability to search for a character name word. That can really help when you want to go back and check on something. https www.facebook.com Sanford, Begley SB. How about baby steps for the very beginning writer, such as how to find someone who can say you've got potential, or was that supposed to read like Bat Twain? I find that potential or talent is one of the worst lies writers buy into. We have a great desire to write, and we want to believe it's somehow meant to be. Look, the only thing I've found natural talent or potential good for is to give you some things for free. In my case it's characters. I understand a freer got plot for free. The rest we had to work for. What most laymen will tell you is that you have potential based on language. Language is easy. It's the storytelling that's difficult. I am telling you now that if you really want to write, and are willing to study how to, including grammar and expression, you have enough talent. How to find critiquers, Odo, is a problem. Ask at your local library if there's a writers group and then screen them for experience, right field, etc. Alternately, grab a few friends you know are readers and make them read your stuff. Paying in chocolate works. This has the advantage that you presumably know your free idiosyncrasies. AKT, years ago, I had an agent who convinced me to write a truly appalling cover letter cum proposal letter, yes, same document. Which was mailed to every publisher in the world, and was rejected. I parted ways with the agent, but I still have great faith in the series that was rejected. However, I can't even bring myself to do anything with it, because I'm convinced that it was so appallingly presented that my letter is still be laughed about in the publisher's offices. Should I just kill the whole idea? Change my name? Okay. Breathe. First of all, 99% of the submissions or queries sent in by a low-status agent don't even get read. I'm assuming this was not an A-lister with offices in Nick, so chances of it having been read at all are 0. Second, even if it was read, if you got back a standard rejection, it was read by an under-editor or an intern. These stay at the houses a maximum of a year, according to my experience. The chances of anyone now at publishing offices knowing or remembering this letter are 0. Honestly, if you'd done slush, you'd realize what it takes to be memorable in the bad category. Death threats, live animals, body parts and nude pictures might do it. A bad query is as unmemorable as a hum face in a crowd. Don't change your name. Don't kill the idea. Just send it out again, BG, or alternately, publish it yourself on Kindle. At this point, for certain genres this might be a better way to break in. Not just L, show it. If he's a nose picker, have him do it in a scene where it's funny or inappropriate, while being given instructions or mission orders, and all he can think about along with the reader is where to put the booger. Oh wait, okay, this was part of a longer ramble on a different suggestion for another post, I know, but I must insist go on over to my blog and read the post called Ick. This is an example of something memorable to have the character do that serves no purpose, and makes me instantly go ick and fling the book away. Unless you're writing gross-out horror for which the market is very limited, you can't get away with having the villain do this, much less the hero. Remember, your character is supposed to be someone we want to spend time with, if only to see him coming to a bad end. Evil might fascinate. Gross will just make us look away. If you like this content and want to support this channel, the blog, and Sarah's continued writing, please like and subscribe. If you really enjoy the content, please come and join the fun at accordingtohoyt.com.